This is going to be a quick video today, and I'm doing this video in honor of my grandma Darlene's birthday. If she were alive today, she would be 100. My grandma Dar is really the reason I have to thank for so much in life, but the reason I'm making this video is I wanted to share with you real quick how things you do now can impact people later on and be such an inspiration for them, so that even if you feel like your kids or grandkids aren't interested, that there's a good chance later on in life they'll still remember those things. Let's talk a little bit more about it. I have to start out by saying that my grandma was a huge source of strength and stability in my life growing up. And while she definitely had flaws like the rest of us, she was probably the person that really invested like the most time and energy into me and my well-being. And I'm so grateful for that. And as I got older and was a teenager and my early 20s, she did pass away when I was 24. So I didn't get to spend a ton of time in my 20s with her, but we were friends. Like, I felt as though we were friends. We would, go to the thrift stores together. And, it was just like my grandma was my friend. But one of the things that I want to touch on is that while her hobbies at the time and my hobbies now are slightly different, there's so much that I can take from that foundation that she gave me. She was definitely more of a sewer. She did do some crochet. She had a knitting machine, but sewing was really her primary craft. As a small child, I just remember being gifted so many Barbie clothes, and like the couple friends I had were so envious of the sheer amount of Barbie clothes I had, because my grandma sewed these tiny little outfits and she could make something out of like nothing. And when she had scraps from another sewing project, she just made a little Barbie outfit for me. At a very, very young age, I didn't fully, of course, comprehend that she was, like the gravity that she was taking time and energy and all of that. I was just thankful for the toys. But as I grew older, being a child in the 70s and 80s, I think a lot of us were still accustomed to wearing homemade clothes. I was very fortunate in the aspect that she put time and energy into me in that way. We'd go shopping, and if we were in like a regular department store, she would say, "Don't buy that. I can make it for $2. Like that was her catchphrase. So we always used to kind of tease her about that. I can make it for $2. But a lot of times she could. And one of the reasons she could is because I didn't know it at the time, it was just like her sewing room, but it was a great fabric stash. And she had things very nicely organized in a closet and on some shelves. And, just fabric stacked up. I don't remember how she had it organized, but she also had all of the supplies she needed on hand. So, if it was like interfacing or zippers or buttons or any of that stuff, she had it there and ready to go. She picked up a lot of these things on sale, the Goodwill, things like that. And that was a good lesson for me. And I think why I really believe in having a yarn stash of my own is, getting those things at a lower price and having them and having the things I enjoy and enjoy working with. So when the opportunity arises, I can jump right into that project. More so than just like the physical aspect of having the stuff and using it, my grandma was so generous with her time and her energy, and it was something where if I came to her and showed her a picture of a skirt I liked or, whatever, but I just remember her making me a ton of skirts. It's just something where I could show her that and she just wouldn't even hesitate. And maybe it's because she knew that I wanted the item and I would appreciate the item, and that I just didn't have an endless supply of money to purchase items. But she just immediately started whipping out a tape measure and going through the fabric and all of that. And it was something where, while I only have very, very basic sewing skills and I'm not really at a point where I want to be making like full outfits for myself, I can really appreciate that she did that. She did crochet. I remember being in high school and asking her if she could teach me. The one downside with my grandma was she wasn't a patient teacher, and she just kind of wanted to get the project like done and done well for you. So, a lot of times her showing you how to do something really just ended up with her doing it. So my crochet attempts were not successful at that particular time, and that's just okay. I mean, I remember her having small amounts of yarn on hand, but not large amounts. So yeah, it definitely wasn't her preferred mode of creativity, but she was always creating. Always. It didn't even matter. Like I said, it was the doll clothes or the clothes for me, or Christmas tree skirt, like a Christmas tree skirt, or stockings, or like she would literally, like, she had the same couch for probably 30, 40 years. And every decade she would just like reupholster, or not reupholster, but like sew all new covers, like for slip covers for the entire thing. Like, I can look back on old photos and see that couch and how it just drastically changed. Curtains, bedspreads, like I remember like there was this like kind of patchworky craze in the 80s where you took styrofoam shapes like a wreath or a ball, and then you kind of crunched fabric into it so it had a patchworky effect. I don't know what that was called, but she was making clocks like that. She created like scrapbooks with all this fabric on them, boxes that she, I guess you could say, upholstered, where it had like quilt batting and fabric and lace and all of this stuff on there. I really can't think of anything that she really wasn't creating. And to see as a young person that those things were possible and achievable, I think that I really ended up, how should I say this? Like, I didn't understand that some people just don't think they're creative or don't think they're capable of creating things, because I had so much influence from someone who was always creating, and she really didn't let stuff stop her. I mean, there's always times that projects didn't turn out exactly how she wanted, or as the recipient exactly how I would have wanted, but it was still always pretty darn good. And the fact that it was just such a huge part of her personality. If I was making something and I didn't live with her, but if I was at my home and, we didn't have any type of like craft supplies or like stuff like that, if I went to her and I was like, I want to make a purse, I want to make such and such, she would be like, okay, let's go through all the fabric, let's go through all the trim, let's do this. And she just encouraged me so much. There was things that she did that I had zero interest in, and some of those things I still have zero interest in, to be honest, but it just became so much more than that it was just the possibilities of being creative and always knowing, like, I don't have to live without. Like, you can make something, you can have what you want, but you don't have to go buy it from a store. Like, this is possible. And that's probably one of the greatest gifts, like, literally, you could give anyone. I would like to think that if my grandma were alive today, that she would look at what I'm doing here, making projects and sharing them with you and creating this channel and helping other people. I'm confident that she would be proud of me. I think she would love the fact that I'm sharing what I love to do and getting that opportunity to do that. I don't think she ever could have fathomed how technology has evolved since she passed, and just, you can, have your own YouTube channel and show right from, your yarn room, and it can go out all over the world. I think that would have absolutely astounded her. I think she would have enjoyed YouTube. I think she would have loved watching other people. I don't think she ever would have done a channel herself, but I do think she would have watched a lot and really enjoyed like just the sheer aspect of getting able to see so many people's different projects. I have an Aunt Nancy, and she is still living. She's a wonderful person, and she continues to be a great influence in my life, and I'm very thankful to have her. I notice a lot of similar traits between her and my grandma, and I do remember like being a teenager and wanting to do different projects, and she had such great fabric and was always like so generous. And you know, if I wanted to do a project and you know my grandma didn't have what I was looking for, we'd go over there, and you know my aunt would graciously like let me look through stuff, and never had any problems just being like, take it. And what a great gift to a teenager. Yeah, it's been truly amazing. This little guy should not be in the yarn room here, but he snuck in and followed me in. Oh, I'm so thankful to have positive role models in my life that were very crafty and supported me so much. Because like I said, just to be able to give that gift to someone of knowing like there are ways to create all of the things that you love. And I do wish my grandma was here today. In a recent video I did, there were several people in the comments that were talking about how they had been gifted things by their grandmas and they are just like cherished items, even if it's something that like a blanket that doesn't go with their decor or whatever. Like they're just so thankful to be able to have that connection and have something that she did create. And unfortunately, really don't have anything to this day that my grandma created. I have just a very few possessions of hers, and I do cherish those. But most of all, I've got my memories, so that is what is the most important thing. And I've also got that spark inside that she gave me to be able to create. I just wanted to take this opportunity to let you know that even if you don't think you're making a huge difference in someone's life right now, I guarantee you are, just by being there for them and being supportive and helping nurture those creative juices within them. It's not like you have to take on a full-time tutoring job to your grandkids or whatever, but just by being present and being there and showing them that these things are possible is extremely important. I hope that you have someone in your life that influenced you positively, or I know some people where they may not have had that person, but they've actually become that to someone else. And what a gift that is. So thank you so much for letting me kind of talk about yarn today, but talk about a very, very special person to me. So I will see you again soon. In my next video, I will be showing you my 3 go-to hat patterns, and I get questions all the time. One of them is mine and the other 2 are not, but I do wear them a lot, and I thought it would be great just to show you, as fall is coming up, 3 super easy, quick, beginner level patterns that you can whip out. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.